Hey, this is Ola coming to you live from my Empire Pro studios on the road. Yes, I am out of town right now, so you may be able to see that my background is a little bit different. Maybe you can see my laptop inside of my glasses. That's cool. Sorry about this live event was supposed to happen yesterday. Okay. It was actually supposed to happen yesterday, and I see here that Jose says, "What happened to this live event, Ola?" Sorry about that. My apologies. I did have a conference call that went into uh, overgear, so that's why I couldn't. But yeah, I'm back here. We're back here. I don't have the physical books on me, so but you know what to do if you're brand new here. Make sure you go to smartrealestatewholesaling.com. Go pick up the book. There's a second book, Real Estate Money Secrets, as well. Uh, the first book, Smart Real Estate Wholesaling, it's a book that you need to read 10 to 15 times if you want to succeed with this business. It's a mindset situation, but also from a very tactful, I don't know if I'm speaking that correctly, tactful, but basically strategic standpoint. Okay, let's just keep that in mind. All right, so I just wanted to make sure we mention that. All right, so now let's get started today. Today we have a very interesting topic. I want to talk about how to wholesale real estate out of state. Um, some people call it virtual wholesaling, right? But basically, the idea is to be able to do business out of state, do business anywhere, and I want to help you with that today. So I'm going to share some information with you. I'm going to give you some information that can help you with regards to that. Okay, but this particular topic, let me just make sure that I can tell you the actual right uh, verbatim. Okay, but it's basically how to wholesale real estate out of state. Basically, how to wholesale real estate when you're not physically present. Is it possible? Of course, right? Of course, it's possible. When I started back in 2004, ending 2004, most of 2005, maybe half of 2005, because exactly like most people, um, I was all over the place in 2005. So it took me a whole year to close my first deal. Right. So I didn't close my first deal until December 2005. When I closed back then, it probably was a little bit more difficult, to do deals out of state, to do deals from outside of the country. Today I could be in Nigeria and I can do deals flawlessly from Nigeria. Why? Because obviously communication has grown a lot more. It's easier to communicate because that's what it comes down to. It's easier to facilitate transactions, it's easier to facilitate the process, it's easier to facilitate the system. Okay. And the way I have built my business is so I can basically operate this from anywhere in the world for as long as there's internet. Okay. As a matter of fact, if there's no internet and there's still a good phone line, I can still conduct this business from anywhere in the world. And that's the way I've chosen to build my business. You don't have to do yours like that. But here's what I want to tell you. You should keep an open mind with regards to that. By the way, if I say anything that makes sense to you throughout this session, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Okay. I understand that this session is coming a whole 24 hours later. I apologize for that. We could have maybe like an hour before, because I did suspect like an hour before that it was going to take, probably not going to happen yesterday. So I completely apologize. Do you accept my apology? All right, good. Thank you. Basically, I could do this business from anywhere in the world. And some people would argue that it's a local business. You need to go on appointments, blah, blah, all these kind of things. Well, all of those things, I guess you can present them as a problem that you can find a solution to, right? Oh, we need to go see the person. The person is more comfortable. Okay, we can put some boots on the ground. There are human beings that live there. There are people you can hire from Craigslist, from different places. There are people you can connect with on the internet, that can help you facilitate a deal from a local standpoint, if in fact there's a deal. But why are we talking about all of those problems if you don't already have leads, right? If you don't already have a pipeline of leads coming in, basically you're presenting to yourself a problem that you don't have already. And that's what I see a lot of people do in this business. They basically find out all the what ifs. What if that? What if that? What if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? They're always more concerned about what if things go wrong as opposed to what if it works out, right? And that's something that I want you to pay attention to in this business. What if I take this move? What if I make this move and then it comes out to be the wrong move, right? What if it's the right move, right? Okay, if it's the right move, what are the potential things that can make it the wrong move? Okay, they call that in business a risk. So you can assess your risk basically. You can say, hey, these are the potential risk. How can I mitigate against this risk? That's how to do business. Okay. But essentially, a lot of people they approach business, and I understand it's an employee mindset. We all came to the table with that, but you basically it's a mindset you need to lose, right? What if I have this problem? What if this problem exists? How can I solve the problem? That's where you want to be coming from when you're doing this business. If you don't come from that standpoint, I guarantee you there's about 50,000 different reasons why you can decide not to move forward with any kind of business just by simply saying, hey, that's a potential problem. I'm not going to do it. If that's the way it works, you wouldn't have a job if that's what you depend on right now. If the way it works is that we just say, hey, this is a risk, we're not going to take it, right? Without assessing the risk and see if there's a potential way that we can mitigate the risk. So, what are the potential things that can happen with out of state deals? I guess that's a good question to ask, right? But the answer to the question, is it doable? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I think that's the only way to do business today. I think virtual wholesaling is the way to do wholesaling today. Why do I think so? Because it's truly a one global world. Everything is globalized. Everything is to one word because thanks to this gadget in front of me, you can see it in my glasses, right? My laptop. I could be anywhere and I can still have no excuse not to show up here every day unless I'm locked up by something else like yesterday, right? So but as far as I couldn't connect with you from anywhere in the world, that's not true. That's not true. I can connect with you from anywhere in the world as long as there's internet, okay? As long as there's a way for me to upload this video, as long as there's a way for me to connect with you live, as I'm live with you right now, then in the same token, you can do wholesaling business in the same token. So, what are the steps involved in wholesaling, right? Well, wholesaling is the art and the science of finding deeply discounted properties, right? Right? Yes? Okay, good. So, but then turning it for profit, right? So, the art and science of finding deeply discounted property. It is a science. You can bring this down to science, okay? And that's why I say you can do this from anywhere in the world. But there is a heart to it. But the heart part of it is something you figure out over time. You start feeling on it, and all of a sudden start feeling like you're an expert in the game. That's because you're consistent. That's because you've been doing it over and over. So, for example, I have one of my student just generated his first lead. That's exciting. That is exciting because now all of a sudden he could repeat that over and over and over again, and it's just a matter of time before he closes a deal. If he closes one deal, then it's just a matter of time. He will do it over and over again, then he can close deals back to back to back. It's that simple. The skills is actually in the willingness and the ability to be able to follow a repeated process over and over, even when it may feel like it's tiring. You're about to get frustrated, like most people in the wholesaling game. Sometimes it feels that way, and the difference between the winners and the losers is that when you feel frustrated, that's when you know this is gonna work. But that's when most people quit, right? Or that's when most people sometimes they quit without even knowing it. Like 3 months has gone past and they're like, oh my God, I haven't made any call in about 3 months. And by the way, they all have legitimate reasons. It's because they're too busy. There's too much, it takes too much time. It's because all of this reason, or because they hate driving for dollars like me. I do hate driving for dollars, by the way, and knocking on doors. Okay. So, but that's not my excuse, okay? To not do this game, to not build this business, because worst case scenario, I hate a particular strategy. I'll figure it out, right? I'll figure something out. I'll find a way to avoid that or find somebody else to do it for me. We call that driving for dollars enterprise, right? If you're doing that, I'm all for it. But if you're doing it by yourself, you don't value your time. That's a different ball game. So that's wholesaling, right? So now with wholesaling, you need to be able to communicate with the seller, right? You need to be able to put a marketing ad out or prospect potential sellers, right? How do you do that? You pick up the phone, you use the internet, right? You don't have to hang bandit signs anymore. As a matter of fact, I am completely against it, okay? Because I don't do it, okay? I don't do it because of city violations. For most cities in America, it's a big deal. They can slap you a $1,500 ticket. At least that's what I was threatened with, right? You don't have to involve yourself in a situation that can get in potential trouble. There are legitimate ways and very extremely cheap ways for you to start marketing your offer, okay, by simply learning how to market. All right. So the truth of the matter is that I can decide to get into any market. Okay. I can get into any market I want to get into. That's a beautiful thing. Like I could decide to go to San Diego right now without leaving the spot. Okay, and I can do, I'm in the Northeast still, right? But I can decide to run this business completely hands off, not hands off, but no physical me being there. And I can run this business in San Francisco today because actually today I just discovered a potential partner that I can do deals together with in San Francisco that knows that market. So that takes me to something I think you should keep in mind: partnerships on steroids. Partnerships on steroids. See, there's not a single deal I've ever closed in my life that I didn't close with a potential, not potential, with a partnership at some level or the other. Okay, at some level, a partnership was involved. So for a long time, I didn't really realize that I would want to hug up on my deals and stuff like that, indirectly, not because I want to, but indirectly. But eventually, I realized that wait, this business is just really all about partnership. You're partner with other wholesalers, with realtors, with brokers, with attorneys, with title companies. All these people get paid. All these people get paid. You see what I'm saying? So you can partner with people in their local market, and you can just be the person who become the marketer that bring all these leads to life. Without leads is the lifeline of this business and any other business. Okay, that's the lifeline of this business and any other business. Nothing else. Nothing else really matters as much as leads. What do I mean by leads? Human beings, not properties. Human beings, people. Okay. Rick says, can you discuss in detail how you research and choose a new market to get into? What and how you're researching and what are you looking for? I'll talk about that in a second. I have an interesting answer to that. Okay. All right. So basically, leads does not mean properties. This is one of the reasons why I hate driving for dollars. It makes no sense driving for dollars, writing down properties of property addresses when you can literally look all of that up on the internet, okay, for free. You can look at all the addresses in your town for free, even vacant. You can pull that up from USPS website, okay. So it makes no sense driving around for dollars for that. Makes zero sense. No, I know the excuse. Oh, yeah, people are gonna access. People are not gonna get to it before you. You're lying to yourself. People will, and they always will. Okay, especially when you're dwelling on one house. Okay, but if you understand data, which I've been talking about heavily lately, then you understand that you need to get through data fast. But the one thing that you need to take your time on is a human being, people, right? So we have the three pillars in the three pillars, which is value, automation, and people, right? Value and automation only exists because of people. Without people in that equation, basically you have a zero business. Okay, so multiply $1 million business by one people coming into your business, one lead calling your business, or you're calling zero leads. Multiply that by zero leads reaching out to you, or you reaching out to them. You have a zero business. So, like I said, the lifeblood of your business is the blood is actually leads. Okay, you may say in life it's oxygen. Well, guess what uses up the oxygen is blood. Okay, it's blood and oxygen work hand in hand from the brains to the heart to the rest of the body. That's your leads in your business. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So if you can generate that in any market, right, if you can generate leads in any market, which obviously you can do from anywhere in the world, then you can do business in any market. The rest of it is basically relationships. The rest of it is, how do I find a title company? Well, you can Google that as well. But you can just pick up the phone and talk to some of the, you can get on Facebook groups of any city real estate investors association, right? And you can start liaising there, right? It's completely up to you. But here's the thing, if I don't have a business in any market, I don't get into the market. So that answers your question, Rick 661 Rick. Let me answer your question a little bit more in an elaborate manner. So in any business, obviously market research comes from first. Okay. If you're trying to do an online business, market research comes first. Okay. You need to know what the market wants. What's market? What's another word for market? People, leads. Remember that. It keeps going back in circles to the same thing, right? We keep going back in circles. People. So but all that is real estate. Yeah, because the real estate are useless to you unless you have access to the people behind or people in control of those assets. Okay, does that make sense? So, for example, somebody asked me a question earlier today. Person says, "Okay, so listen, I have a tricky situation. I'm going to answer your question." 661 Rick, sorry, I'm going to answer your question. Sorry about that, but this is very important. Before that, person said, "Okay, so listen, I have a tricky situation. Maybe you can help. I have a number, I guess a phone number, and name to a absentee owner for East Orange home. She's selling, but not the address. I got it from someone who was supposed to verify the address but lost contact for about 3 weeks. Now I believe they're having legal issues. What do you think? What do you think? I think that's too much energy on just a property. There's no real phone number, right? There's no, the person has a number, but they lost contact. If you lost contact, there's no contact information. Why do you need contact information? Because that's your connection with people, right? If there's no contact information, it's a useless lead. It's not a lead. That's why driving for dollars is, again, useless. It's a useless waste of your time. Okay. The most important part about all of that is when you do hopefully pull together 200,000 houses while you're driving for dollars and then skip trace and find the contact information. And then you now start the actual work, which is basically prospecting. Are we making sense? All right. So that's that. So you have to do market research. So now you have to do market research. So this is an awesome question here by 661 Rick. Can you discuss in detail how you research, choose a new market to get info? When a lead comes to me from a market, that means there are people buying and selling in that market. That's how I do my research. Okay. When it comes to real estate, when it comes to digital marketing, it's a different ball game. There are tools to use to research what people are searching for, right? To research what people are consuming in forms of content, right? And then we create more content around that. Okay. So if you wonder how I come up with my topics here on this channel, because again, I do research of what people are asking questions about. Obviously, you're asking live question. You want answers for that. Clearly, you are my market in this scenario. And then basically I bring that to the table. Okay. So that's how I do it. Now, when it comes to real estate, how do you find market? Well, any urban populated type of market is good. Okay, if there are people buying and selling real estate there, it's good. I'm going to give you another deeper way to look at it. If you look at a subject property, you must have some kind of, at least a seed subject property to look at. If you look at it, you must make sure that within 1 mile radius there are properties that have actually sold. There are at least 20 properties that have sold within 1 mile of that property within the last 6 months. If you can't find 20 properties that have sold, I don't care the value is sold at. Okay, I'm just talking about market right now, because market is another word for people, not person. One person should never be put on a pedestal in any aspect of your business. Okay. However, when you're talking about people, means multiples of people, right? Then you're talking about a market now, which is why you need at least 20 houses sold within the 1 mile radius in the last 6 months. How do you find that out? You need comparable market analysis tools. Okay. And I will not be recommending one right now because it may change tomorrow. But you could Google, you can ask questions on a one-on-one basis from people. If you come into my personal one-on-one coaching training, or you're a member of our 3pillarsystem.com, you do know which ones we use. Okay. But I think it's a bad idea to promote them on these evergreen videos because it may change. It just may change. Okay. All right. And I don't promote affiliate links for that. So just keep that in mind. So 20 properties that sold within 1 mile radius of any subject property is good enough. So now you may say, how do you go into a city? Well, if a lead comes to me from a city, I'm in the city. Okay, I own your city. If I get a lead from your city, that's the way I look at it. But real estate valuation should be done within 1 mile radius, because why? Because that's what the bank underwriters want. And the bank underwriters, I'm at the mercies of the bank underwriters, because they kind of control the market, because people that purchase the end property that are being fixed are using their loans. They're using money from this bank. So the bank underwriter get to decide what the market wants to a certain level, of course, right? So just keep that in mind. And then he has a follow up. I get stuck on picking desirable market, and how to find and identify them. That's because you're not marketing. Okay, if you're not marketing, then you will have problem picking a market. You need to start marketing. The best way to start marketing from your backyard, the city you live in. Pick the house you live in, and learn how to find the comparables for the house. Do you find 20 houses sold in that area within 1 mile radius of that property? Then you should start in your backyard. Okay. Now check the pre-foreclosures. Are there some pre-foreclosures in the area? Then you probably should start in your backyard. The reason why you're getting stuck in any aspect of this business, okay? Information overload. There are two reasons for information overload, okay? There are two reasons for overwhelm in this business, okay? The first reason is lack of mentorship, okay? The second reason is lack of action, not taking action, okay? If you're not taking action, then you're absolutely right. You're always taking some kind of action, you just don't realize it. Okay, you're probably busy watching about 20 videos on wholesaling on YouTube every day, right? And then you're busy commenting. With that being said, I do want you to hang out here, because I try to keep you updated on what's really working, and I don't fluff anything, and that helps me out here. So I'm not telling you, but I'm just being honest with you. If you're busy consuming way too many videos on YouTube on any given day, then you're actually taking some kind of action, just not the action that will get you to a deal. Am I making sense? Okay, so uh, two reasons I gave why you're stuck. Okay, there are two reasons. You need you need to be taking action. Okay, if you're not taking action, you will the action will take itself for you. Basically, you will have information overload. Okay. The other reason, you don't have a mentor, because a mentor is supposed to keep you accountable. Okay. I like the accountability partnership thing, but a lot of time you have blind people leading blind people. That's not a good combination, right? So you went to an event, you pick an accountability partner, but the person, you have to inspire them all the time. They will drain your energy yourself, and then you find yourself back in square one, right? So just keep that in mind right there. Okay, so so let me just finish answering this question. How do you wholesale real estate out of state? Well, first of all, generate a lead from out of state. Simply market. Try marketing there. Try prospecting that market. Well, if you have enough data, if you have at least 1,000 data, right, to work with, it's a good market. Okay. If you can't find that out unless you pull data. Now, if you want to go look for data by driving for dollars, that's a problem that I can't help you with, okay? Because I do not recommend driving for dollars. And that's one of the reasons why I don't recommend driving for dollars, because you're busy driving for dollars, and it's going to take you forever to come up with 1,000 leads, okay? When 1,000 pieces of data, not leads, because leads are actually people. That means somebody that's actually uh, one way or the other indirectly said they may be a candidate, and you have a contact information. Without a contact information, you cannot call it a lead. It's just a piece of data that's available to everyone. Okay. Now you take it a step further by turning it to a lead by finding their contact information. Okay. You need to do that at a massive scale. What do I mean? Minimum 1,000. Okay. All right, so let's see here. Yeah, so if you start marketing in that area, then you start filling on the conversations, or you see what kind of response come from direct response form of marketing. So you have direct response form of marketing, which is basically Facebook ads, PPC ads or any kind of PPC ads, or direct mailing, right? That's direct response. Bandit signs would fall under it, but I don't recommend it anymore. I did make hundreds of thousands of dollars from bandit signs before they threatened me with a $1,500 ticket. And I said, okay, this is not a fun way of doing business. If you just give me a thumbs up, thank you so much. I appreciate that. If you haven't given me a thumbs up, please do that as soon as you can. All right. So how does rising tariffs affect wholesaling? That's a good question. I'm going to answer that question. Let me see what Rick says first, okay? Yes, thanks for answering and sharing your opinion on this. Much respect and I appreciate your time. Thank you, Rick. So how does rising tariffs affect wholesaling? It affects just like it affects any other business, as in like it's um it's an eventual effect. It's not an effect that you should worry about. Okay, when we're valuing properties as a wholesaler, for most part, for wholesaling deals, okay, you're looking at 6 months kind of window. Okay, so do sellers and buyers in real estate affect? Does the tariff, rising tariff, or whatever, on an international level, does it eventually affect that market? Yes, but the keyword is eventually, but not in a way that is it's completely negligible as far as you're concerned, and I don't worry about that because I'm always looking at the last 6 months in order to predict the next 6 months. By the way, we're still predicting the next 6 months. The next 6 months, we could wake up one day and the whole stock market is crashed. But what is the likelihood of that happening? Is slim to almost none. It's basically one out of every. The last time something crazy like that happened or something close was 2008. We're in 2019, 11 years later. So I would say something crazy happening like Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers crashing, you don't want to basically worry about that. By the way, if you're looking for one-on-one coaching with me, you can simply go to 3secrets to firstdeal.com. 3secrets to firstdeal.com. It's an actual 100 minutes class that you need to take. Okay. And then you'll see the options to work with me from there. Okay. All right. So now, with that being said, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them. If you have any questions specific to virtual wholesaling or working out of state, how do you find partners? I already mentioned that. Just go to Facebook groups of any city. You can just start searching on Facebook. They come right up. There are more than enough people willing to partner with you. The only really thing you want to make sure is an experienced person. But you could tell by looking at their wall, by just talking to them, if they're experienced. You should be able to tell if you have educated yourself about this business. If you are not well educated, then it's just be that much difficult. But it's doable. Okay, just keep that in mind. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dig into some more questions that we can find. I actually think there's a question here that I feel like we can answer really quickly. Let's see here. There was a question that came up earlier that we definitely. Uh, all right. So now here's something I noticed going on all over the place, and I think I should address it once and for all. You see in the groups, people say, "Hey, anyone in San Diego willing to partner up for JV?" Don't do stuff like that. That really spell out amateur. Amateur. That's what you call it. Don't do that. Don't call out to people unless you have some kind of value to offer. How do you have some kind of value to offer? You're already prospecting yourself. You have a lead, right? Yourself. You have a direct to contact kind of lead yourself, right? Or you have an existing a sizable buyers list, minimum of 1,000. Again, 1,000. Some people say 150. If you don't have 1,000 people on your buyers list, don't reach out to people asking to partner. Basically, your list is negligible, and the very low potential that you will find a buyer on it. Okay, so don't reach out to people asking for partnerships without having some kind of value to bring to the table already. You can simply have value to bring to the table by marketing yourself, prospecting yourself, have a lead. Hey, I need a help in San Diego. Anybody willing to partner? I have a lead that I'm trying to partner up. Of course, a bunch of people will reach out to you. Why? Because you're bringing value. That's how obvious it is when you bring value to the table. You will see a bunch of people gravitate towards you. It creates an attraction current. And the only thing I teach you here is attraction current. Okay. Even when you're prospecting, cold calling, I still give you a 7-step system to help you get to the attraction current as fast as humanly possible. If you want to know how I do that, just Google 7-step system Ola wholesaling, just like that. If you Google it, it's come rise up. That's a video on the 7-step system that will help you get to the attraction current as fast as humanly possible. If you don't have the attraction current when you're having conversation, you will frustrate yourself in conversation with people. People will eat you all up. Basically, they will spit you out. They will tell you they're not interested if you don't basically position yourself in the attraction current as much as possible. How do you do that? You lead with value as much as possible. Lead with value as much as possible. Always think about leading with value. You already reached people, you already pulled data, you already have the contact information of people. That's the first step. Yes, it's kind of reverse, right? We have the three pillars: value, automation, and people. So what do you have to find first? People. Set up your automation. You are in business in 2019. Stop having people tell you to do things manually for pennies. You can set up your automation or whatever you need set up, and then you start leading with value. You start reaching out to people, or you set up ads for people to reach out to you. Okay, and then you have a business. Three steps. I just said three steps. Okay, maybe a little bit more, but three steps. Get it? The idea is to simplify it, make it easy for you to understand. Okay. All right. So don't post stuff anywhere, either for buyers, sellers, that doesn't lead with. If you're posting on Craigslist, think, take the time to think about it. How can I bring some kind of value to the people that will read this? Right? How can I lead with value as opposed to what I can get from them? Right? The reason why most marketing pieces don't work is because they don't lead with value. It's always about, hey, do this, call me. I buy houses. I buy houses. It works, but you have to be in front of traffic because somebody will see that message. That's how simple it is. The person that sees that message and calls you is because they need that value. Okay. And it's not going to be most human beings. That's why you need to be in front of traffic of people, a lot of people. Okay. Minimum 1,000. So now bandit signs work so good because there are thousands of cars driving by it. Right. But then we have to deal with all kind of violation talk. When you start talking legal stuff, then you lose me at that point. Okay. That's why I pay lawyers. Okay. That's why I pay them. All right. So let's keep going here. So I said, good morning. Could someone please help me out with comps on three properties? You see, this is an example of what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. Seems like prop streams numbers aren't accurate and the seller's numbers are much higher. Could you PM me? Thanks. I greatly appreciate it. These are New Jersey properties. The only thing closer to value in that statement is thanks. I greatly appreciate it. That's the only thing close to it. But you're thanking people, but you're taking from them. I tell you, in any kind of relationship, you go in there to give. If you focus on giving, if you focus on giving, the once in a while that you take, it's okay. Okay. It's okay. And you can use that any kind of analogy in life. Like, for example, today I've been on my A game. I'm trying to lose some weight. I came all the way from 213 down to 201.7, and I was stuck there like 2 3 days ago, basically. And I feel like I've been stuck at 201 for like 5 to 7 days. And last time I checked was about 2 3 days ago. And today I was like, what the heck? I'm out of town. This is the first time in probably a good 3 months that I sipped on some soda. Okay. So, but I feel like I've given so much, and I've given myself and out today, which is pretty dangerous because if it's a bad habit that I've always had, then I can basically shoot myself backwards all the way. But I've drank this is my second bottle of water since that, because I'm aware that I cheated and I needed to. I'm telling you right now, anytime you're asking for something from the market, you are cheating because the more value you put into the marketplace, the more money you're gonna make. That's just the way it works. Okay. If you're worried about why the gurus make so much money, because they give so much. They do give so much. Gurus, doodles, whoever they want to call themselves, they're giving so much content that basically anyone can take and run with and make $100,000. Right. And then you wonder why they keep attracting more, because they keep giving. In any aspect of this business you find yourself, focus on giving. So when you ask for three comps from other people, that means you haven't educated yourself on the proper tools to use to collect comparables. Okay, the bigger gurus, like the $70,000 gurus, right? What they do is they tell you to go reach out to a realtor to send you comps, and some of them will send you comps if they're newbies and they're very naive about the wholesaling game. There's a bunch of people that will never close a deal that will ask for comps, right? So, oh, I'll close the deal with you. They fall for that. They send you comps, but now they're starting to detect that it's a waste of time. But is that the reputation you want to have in the marketplace? Just basically wasting people's time, indirectly or directly, asking for three comps. Um, I guess there's nothing wrong with asking, but I'm just telling you right now, if that's what you fill your whole business activity with, you can't get nothing good out of that. The only thing closest here to value is thanks, I greatly appreciate it. Okay. So now, in to be fair to answering this properly or to address this properly, I would rather be the person that can give other people comparables rather than me asking for it. Okay, I'll rather be the person to be quick to reach out to other people. So it's not about the comps itself, it's about the value aspect of it, right? I would rather be the person to say, hey, you need some comps? Okay, reach out, just PM me. Then I'll do it for you if I have the time, right? I'm hoping I don't have that much time lingering around, because if I do, then I got a bigger problem. If I have that much time, I'm probably that broke, then I'm useless to other people as well, too. And being able to provide comps to other people is not the most useful way you can be to them, either way. But it may be a stepping stone towards building more relationship for yourself in the business that you could find useful. You could be like, what market are you? Okay, we could do deals together. I may start generating some deals in that market later. And then you flip everything I just said on the head right there into being a valuable person in the marketplace. That's why I said the best thing to invest in is yourself. The best thing to bet on is yourself, because that education will go far. You can use it to provide value for other colleagues in the business, for buyers, for sellers. When I'm talking to sellers on the phone, I'm more concerned about is an opportunity to educate them. Okay. And if there's a deal, the deal will pop right out in my face. But I'm busy trying to educate them about their property and the kind of options they have based on what kind of motivation they have, how fast they need to sell. See, the 7-step question: how fast do they need to sell? What are they selling? What kind of price they're looking for? What's all of that questions, the 4 pillar question, pre-qualification questions, are designed to help me identify how I can serve them. And that's how you want to approach this business. Okay. You want to identify the best way you can serve them. Okay. All right. So, and guess what somebody did? I guess they have that much time. Somebody said, send me an address and let's see. I usually charge $10 per comps. Inbox one address to see what I can run for you. All right. Somebody is charging $10 per comparable. There you go. That's you expose yourself when you ask questions like that, as opposed to find ways to do it better. Obviously there are. I don't want to call them predator. I mean, it's a free marketplace. You can feel free to charge for anything as long as somebody's willing to pay for it. But you put yourself in that position when you don't lead with investing in yourself. Okay. Uh, let's see. Let's see if we can find another question here. Somebody says, when you do your comps using Realtor.com, Zillow, or my favorite Redfin, you are looking for comps on homes in similar condition to your seller's home. They will have a higher price, probably this estimate from Zillow. Your job is build that bridge over the gap between their price and your offer and educate them as to why your offer is fair. Foundation, roof, kitchen needs to be updated. You provide a completely renovated turnkey property to your buyer. That's a good answer, good answer. Somebody say, if a home has a building permit on it, does that mean it's already been bought because people will be working on it? No, absolutely not. I found lots of abandoned houses with building permits on them. Yeah. So let's talk about that real quick. A lot of vacant homes are bought by newbie people who try to do real estate investing, and then they find out that numbers are not going to work, or they run out of money completely. It happens all the time. Many of my leads are like that. Okay. So obviously they've pulled permit. That's the first thing they do before they attempt to start working on the property. So if they want to sell you the property, that doesn't mean they're working on the property. Again, the most important thing is to talk to these people and see where their motivation is, and then reverse engineer your offer from there. If they're talking to you after you ask the third question, are you open to sell the property? And they say yes, that's all you need to know. The only place to find out if somebody wants to sell a property is from the horse's mouth. Okay, you need to talk to them to find out. So if you're looking for an engineered way to find out if they want to sell or not, I don't know if that exists, at least not yet. There could be intelligence, artificial intelligence, machine learning things coming up that we can just look at a bunch of mass big data and be able to tell if somebody is open right about now to sell. Right now, if you stack one list of property with another list of property, for example, you stack a vacant with pre-foreclosure and you narrow that list down, yeah, you just increase the chance that they may want to sell. They're in pre-foreclosure, the house is vacant, and you just increase the chance that they may want to sell. But it's still, they may want to sell. Does that make sense? So it doesn't really, so maybe there's a machine, never say never, with God, all things are possible. But right now, the best way to find out if somebody wants to sell is talk to them. That's how to find out. By the way, make sure you join our group on Facebook. Make sure you join our group on Facebook. It's called, you can search for it on Facebook, Smart Real Estate Wholesaling. Make sure you're a part of that group so we can start discussing together as a community. We're already doing that. I mean, our group has right now there are 416 members in there. Okay, 416. Last time I refreshed, I'm refreshing right now. That's how I'm slowing down. I'm refreshing just to see how many is in there. It should be about probably 420. Let's see. It's refreshing. Drum roll. Oh, actually 415. Okay. 415 is in there right now. So make sure you join so we can continue the conversation there. Okay. All right. So RC says, how do you find market inventory? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by market inventory? Are you a wholesaler? Are you as an investor? As a what? What do you mean market inventory? You mean houses? What do you mean? All right, please elaborate. It depends on what you're operating as. Okay, as an investor who is looking to buy, as a wholesaler who is looking to buy, so that all depends. Okay, I'll tell you the way I find my inventory. I market. Okay, I learn marketing and I market heavy. Okay, heavily. All right, and of course, Rick, that is so fast, very fast. All right. Let's see here. Let's go see. So somebody says, after 2 weeks of posting bandit signs, my business partner and I got two possible deals. I have a motivated seller that wants $90,000 for their home. They owe 30K on a mortgage. We're not giving them 90K for the home. House looks good. That's a negative. Little repairs. That's a negative. We need lots of repairs. That doesn't mean it's not a deal. Help me with some advice on how to wrap this deal up. Go. All right. See what I'm saying? All right, so we got a lot of people posting stuff like that, which is fine. I guess that's how they learn sometimes. Okay, so RC says, as a wholesaler, how do you find inventory? You pull data, okay? You could pull it from list source. You could pull it from foreclosure.com, listsource.com. You could pull it from, you could literally Google list of foreclosures, okay? You could pull it from foreclosure.com. That's foreclosures.com. You can go to realtytrack.com. All right. Now that's data. You pull that data, okay, and then you skip trace the data. Skip trace means you find the phone numbers, the contact information. If you haven't found the contact information, you don't have leads, but you have data, okay, which is property addresses, the property address, or anything like that. Now, another way you can turn them to lead, okay, is by mailing them, and when they decide to call you back, they become a lead because now you have the contact information and you're talking to a real human being. Okay, now that's inventory. Once you talk to them, right, and then you have a house under contract, that becomes inventory for investors. Okay. But for you as a wholesaler, when people start reaching out to you, that's how you build your inventory. Okay. When you all those contracts that you start locking houses up under contract, that's inventory for you now. And that's when you see investors come to you and say, hey, what's on your inventory? Do you have anything in your inventory right now? That's when you start seeing people start saying that. Okay. How do you find the phone numbers? You use a process called skip tracing. Okay. If you go to whitepages.com, you may find some landlines, but keep in mind that nobody uses landline anymore. Maybe some cell phones, very rarely. But there's something called skip tracing, which is my preferable way of doing it. You do it in mass. You pull 1,000 pieces of data and you send it into skip trace. It comes back with as many phone numbers as humanly possible. Somewhere between 60 to 70% of them will come back with multiple phone numbers. And then you start reaching out to those people. You can reach out by phone, by text messages, but of course, I advise to go using automation to reach out to them, because there's a lot of people, majority of them are not going to want to sell you a property. So how do you find them? You keep going one at a time. When you close one deal, $10,000, you look at the amount of work you put in, it was all worth it. It's way better than a job all day long, especially once you turn this to a system, into a consistent thing that you do, and you have a pipeline, okay, and you're just closing deals. Then it becomes extremely easy to do that. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That's how you do it. You find the phone numbers by skip tracing. If you're a member of 3pillarsystem.com, okay, your skip tracing can cost as low as 7 cents per per record that you skip trace. Okay, so 7 cents, 3,000 records, you pay $210. You have as many phone numbers, as much as 60 to 70% of that, and then you can load them up and start calling them. You can text them, but those are essentially, those are becoming leads that you can now call. You can start prospecting those people. Okay, so that's it right there. So that's how you build your inventory. Hopefully that answers your question. So as an investor, you're looking to buy, to fix and flip. Your inventory is simply reach out to all the old sellers that are actively marketing and then buy from them. Okay, that's how simple it can be. The hardest part about that is doing that on a consistent basis and having a system to follow up and continue to check on people's inventory, get on people's list, right? And see what's happening. Another way to have inventory is you can partner with other people in the market that are actively marketing. Just make sure that they are direct to seller. There are too many people doing daisy chain, meaning about 50 people trying to market the same property, but they are not on the same team. That is destructive to the whole industry as a whole, because it start looking very nasty to these cash buyers and stuff. So also, if you market properties that you don't have control of, eventually after a few times you're trying to get people in the property, you can get them in the property. Your reputation is a very small world, by the way, among the people that are actively doing business. All right, there is a lot of people commenting on YouTube and the groups, but there's very few that are actively doing the business. Just keep that in mind. That's what set apart the winners from the losers. Okay, so just so that's a quick tip for you. um Somebody says, I think many lose hope in the business because they sit and watch Max YouTube videos. That's Max is another dude who probably has the biggest channel right now, and think this is going to happen fast. But those videos are edited, and 2 weeks can be broken down into 20 minutes episode. The key for y'all is learning persistent, but sprinkled with patience. Great things take time to accomplish, especially in the real estate business. Either way, every day is your day to work your ass hard towards your goal. That is very true. That's something I thought I should just sprinkle there for you. But it's even that much easier. It's a lot more easier when you it's a lot more easier when you have a mentor, accountability partner. You're part of a community that are actually taking action. um, it's hard to have a lot of people taking action when they are just chasing after free stuff. There's nothing wrong with free stuff, but when you don't pay attention. That's just the way it works. Okay, if you invest $50,000 in coaching and mentorship, there's a significantly higher chance that you're going to take this business serious, and then you will and then that you will take it serious, and then you will make something out of it, just simply because you're taking action and you're asking questions, you're taking action, and because you've invested some kind of money and you're saying, I must get return back on this investment. Because of that, enough is enough to get you through the game. All right. RC says, how do I become a member? To become a member here, go to 3pillarsystem.com. So 3 pillars, we talk about leading with value, automation, people. All right. So we go through the step by step of how to pull people, how to find people, which is basically contact information connected with actual properties. Sometimes doesn't have to be connected with a property. I can tell you how many lead deals I've done from people who got a message, but they just have a friend who's going through something. Has nothing to do with the particular property, just people. Okay. So that's why properties is not a pillar. People is the pillar. Automation, and we teach you how to set all that up as well. And then value. What does that mean exactly? In the form of scripts, creating ad copies, how to set up ad copies that win, and things like that. So you go to 3pillarsystem.com, and that's where you find that information. Let's go through some more questions. Let's see if we can find another fantastic question. Let's see. All right, so I have to address this, okay? I have to address this. This is very, very important. People are coming up with all kind of let me just make sure I put this in. Excuse me, let me just make sure I put that in there just in case somebody else comes right in. And mm. All right, so this is, I think this is where we're gonna probably round this up today. This particular question here that I'm going to answer today. Let's see here. This one says, a guy came to our door to solicit his security system to us, but we already have one we like. We continued to talk, and real estate came up. Ended up giving him our business card, and he agreed to find vacant properties for us. Okay. Next day, he texted with 3 vacant properties. Boom. Tip. All right. All right. So again, keep in mind, somebody sent a text message of vacant properties. Properties. Remember, properties is not part of the pillars. It's just not. Okay. People. VAP. People are pillars, not properties. All right. So somebody texting you or giving you a bunch of property addresses, or you have property addresses that you bought for $200 from somebody on Craigslist or Fiverr.com. It's basically you just lost your money. You lost time, money, right? And if you put any kind of resources in that, okay, unless you have planned to move further into where the step actually starts, which is finding the phone number for those properties. Okay. So now I'm excited for this person, okay, that they found properties and they're happy. But I can tell you right now, if I want vacant properties, all I have to do is drive down to Newark, New Jersey, and I'll drive for 15 minutes. I'll come up with 100 vacant properties. Does that mean I found a deal? No, right? All right. So am I making sense? I find that I have to explain this in the most layman language as much as possible until enough people get it. My goal is to help 10 people per year become millionaires. Okay. And if I allow just the message out there to keep going, basically, I guess it's not a matter of allowing it is. But the few people that find their way to this channel, my goal is to help you increase your chances of winning big time in this game by basically remove all the dirt, all the filter out all the garbage and the noise. Okay. So somebody texts you 3 vacant properties, is basically you're now at ground zero of the process. It means nothing. It's not even a step. Okay. I guess you could call it a step if you have plans to move further into the funnel, right? How do you move those property further into the funnel? The next step is to find contact information. But now you have to prospect, meaning you have to ask them, John, hey, I'm calling about 123 Main Street. Are you open to selling that property? Would you entertain a cash offer on that property? And you need that person to say yes. If they don't say yes, there's no point moving further. What is the chances that they're going to say yes? It's basically about 10 out of every 100, 10%. Okay. That they will say yes. But because they say yes doesn't mean they're going to accept your price. So that's another step you got to jump through, right? Negotiations, right? And then they have to agree to work with you as a creative investor, meaning nothing conventional. They're not going to be asking you to talk to their lawyer. They're not asking you to put down $5,000 deposit, right? You got to make sure they're motivated. Basically, if they're motivated, then there's an increased chance that they're not going to ask you for any kind of red tapes or any craziness that you normally have to go through in a retail deal. Okay. So just keep on. So here's the tip. If you don't have time or a car to drive for dollars, then start talking to people who do, even the ones who try to sell you stuff. You know, that's not target marketing. Okay, that's not being a professional marketer. Wholesaling is about being a professional marketer. You're not a agent. Okay, even agents need to be marketing. Okay, at the end of the day, agents need to be marketing themselves, but more so wholesaler. Your job in this game is to bring the leads to the table, bring actual contact information of motivated seller to the table, so that you can by yourself get them to become a deal or have other people help you turn them to deals. Okay. um Now that advice threw me back into the MLM, traditional MLM mode. Even MLM these days, you know better than to be talking to family and friends and not learn how to properly market for people that are waiting for you to hear from you about your offers, either the home business or the product. It's the same thing in real estate wholesaling. There are people that are waiting for you to hear from you, right? There are people waiting to hear from you, but you're busy talking to people that are not prospects or people that will send you bad leads. Okay. So if you ask me, if I walk up to your door and you tell me you just need vacant properties and I don't know anything about this business, then I'll just drive down the street in Newark and I'll get you about 10 houses. And then, these are 10 houses. They're overgrown weed. But does that mean there are deals there? No, it doesn't mean that. And there's a lot of people buying into that gimmicky ideology right now. So I'm going to tell you, don't fall for that. Okay. Matter of fact, you need to educate yourself on marketing. That's the key thing. That's what you're gonna learn on this platform here. I'm not gonna give you gimmicky methods. If you're gonna do drive for dollars enterprise, meaning you're still gonna have to market massively to people that are going to be driving for you, meaning you expect almost 0% retention rate of those people because they're not going to close deals for the most part, right? So people are going to be quitting, but you got to be putting people through that because again, it comes down to people. So if you're going to do drive for dollars enterprise level, meaning you're advertising to people that want to make money, people that want to make $100, $1,000 from sending you a good lead, right? But it's still marketing. You will invest a tremendous amount of time and money. But it doesn't feel like that if you already know, if you're educated about the process. But then if you don't already know that and you're falling for the gimmicks, you get frustrated out of the business. All right. So RC says your video inspired me. I'm glad I found your channel. So much great content. Thank you so much, RC. Everybody else that you're gonna watch this rebroadcast, most people are gonna watch the rebroadcast. It's just the nature of this channel because we don't preach sexy stuff like drive for dollars and make $10,000 tomorrow. I gotta teach you what will work. Okay. So basically what you need to do, let's see. Oh, this is done. Yeah. What you need to do is make sure you join the channel. Join the group on Facebook, Smart Real Estate Wholesaling. Just search for that; it should come right up. And please engage when I post stuff. Engage. If you want to post questions too, let me know. Just say, "Hey, Ola, why don't you open it up so we can post questions anytime?" That will be nice. I don't mind doing that. We just have to control people that will post unsolicited stuff. But the book, I don't have the book because I'm on the road. Sorry. But it's called Smart Real Estate Wholesaling. Just go to smartrealestatewholesaling.com and jump in from there. Okay, and that will add you to my newsletter as well too. And then you will see the other options. You can get the audiobook for free if you are taking a trial of the audible.com. That means you can have unlimited access to audiobooks basically. But take advantage of that, because I do have one, and this is one of the best ways that improve my own skills, by listening to others and stuff like that. This is where I get what to tell you not to do, okay? Because I can hear what's going on out there and what everyone is saying. All right. So if you really like this session, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Comment below if you have any questions. Shout out to Rick661. Shout out to RC for hanging out. And shout out to everyone that leaves comment on the previous videos. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one, and peace.